Good evening, everyone. I would like to make an announcement before all this stuff goes on. First of all, I know I missed an upload last week. Sorry about that. I'll have two different series uploaded next week. One on Saturday, one on Sunday. Or at least hopefully one per each day. And secondly, this is a new series that I dug up from the folders of my Google Docs where I write all my specific stories. So, today we have a new story. This one is called The Frozen Assassin. It was a cold night. There's a thin layer of snow across the streets, making the city seem more at peace than usual. The view is of this lightly covered land, pure white, but there's a tiny bit of red. You follow the red just ahead, more and more. These city streets have never known peace. This night was no different. Just ahead, lying on the corner of a busy intersection, laying in a heap of blood and gore, lay the body of an unknown man. The police had arrived to the scene and had begun their investigations into the assassination. As the officers closed down the streets, erecting barricades, guiding vehicles, a detective made his way to analyze the body. The detective looked old-fashioned, as if from an old-school noir film, appearing to be in his 30s. A visibly tired man, he crouched and looked over the body. Detective Ash, present at the murder scene. The murder of an unknown politician. As of now, we have no positive ID, as the victim's face has been severely damaged, and is beyond the point of recognition from anyone. However, regalia on his suit reveals that he was a person who was into politics. Further analysis will be needed. Ash stores his recorder in the back of his jacket, taking another look at the dead body. Shit. It seems like we got another one. This is getting insane. You sure you had him secured like I said? An officer stepped forward from the crowd of the police. The officer looked fresh out of the academy, shy, skinny, and frail. He was always tasked with desk jobs, but with a lack of officers and an influx of murders, the department needed all the bodies it could muster. So we have secured every point. The first responders made sure that no one had tampered with the body and set up a secure perimeter to keep civilians out. The officer glanced at the body, physically recoiling a couple steps back. Calming his nerves and slowing his breathing, he continued his report. A witness came forward as the perimeter was being finished. She said that she was there when the killing happened. From her testimony, he shot this man with a Barrett .50 caliber at a distance of 2,000 yards. The detective noticed a woman standing away from the crowd, staring at the body. The moment her eyes met, the lady rushed to the area, only to be stopped by another officer. They began to argue, the officer's patience wearing thinner by the second. The detective shouted to the officer to let her through, citing how she was a key witness in the investigation. The cop pushed her towards the detective. The detective said to the cop, "Hop, don't, don't be so rough." The woman was an average-looking mother and had her child, who looked to be around 12, was there, having her eyes covered. The detective asked if she spoke English, and she nodded. She said, "I ran into him when I was going to water my plants on the roof. He stood there aiming up. I thought he was shooting birds. And he took one shot. And screams were heard from miles away. I was confused and yet intrigued. He turned around and stared directly at me. He made hand motions that I could not understand, and he tried tapping on the railing. I did not know what he was trying to get to me. I do not think he can speak as well as he looks. I didn't see much of his face, but the top half had the hair of that one movie, Napoleon Dynamite. My child also saw him carrying an AUG, along with his Barrett 50 cal. My eyes are not what they used to be, so I did not see that other weapon. The detective said, "Well, shit. It was him." The head cop said, "You know he's been hitting people constantly. We first saw him hit all the old politicians. Now he's going almost rampant after everyone that he can find. There's like no pattern other than politician, man with money, another man with money, politician. Nowadays it's mainly politicians. He's not doing the best job, but he's getting the men who are very corrupt out of the way. One way or another, he's doing good." The detective looked up in the sky. It was cloudy, and it seemed it would snow once more. The storm was coming through as well. A man who wore all black and had a face mask. He was lying on the top of a building, having his scope aimed right at the police officers. Making sure that his scope was on target, he looked around. He noticed the body. He confirmed it. Another shot. The police officer down near Detective A said, "We've figured out that he was probably someone who went rogue a few years ago. Curly black hair matches up as well. We found some at the scene. It matches with our man, Guy Rosecliffe. He's been cited at almost all the Frozen Assassin killings, and he was apparently seen out back as well. No weapons." The Frozen Assassin sat there, right on the building, laying, just watching. He thought to himself, maybe, just maybe, I can stop this. Shots fired. Everyone was silent. They didn't know what happened for a few seconds. But next to Detective Ash, one of the older cops had a bullet put in his head. This was unusual. He had killed a cop in cold daylight. He was off. This killing was unusual. This marked the 57th victim, and Ash had seen the shot, which was very unusual. No one really notices the shot until it happened. No police should have been near every crime, but this one, it was done in broad daylight, done specifically to this man. A cop behind him also got hit in the leg. Police officers ran towards the building where it happened. But it's not known right now if they will catch the frozen assassin.